So we're gonna start off today's episode by reviewing ECW One Night Stand 2005. As I mentioned, it's an ECW reunion show. The Dudley Boys versus Sandman and Tommy Dreamer in the main event, which was pretty much my all-time favorite match of this particular show. I think I've seen this pay-per-view more times than I probably should have because I enjoyed it. I don't know why. I guess the violence is my selling point. I like blood. You can't help that. Mm-hmm. Since this is on the Cock or Peacock, for those who don't know what that is, it got the viewers' discretion at the top. So hopefully they didn't take anything out because Peacock has been deleting history for some reason. Like I think they took out the segment where Vince McMahon uttered the N-word around Booker T and John Cena. So you know they trying to be PG. Well, I'm like, bro, you can't erase history. It's there. But we're live from the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, and unlike any pay-per-view at this point, there was no pyro, no cold open, just fans going crazy, chanting ECW. Joey Styles was introduced to kick off the show, and he got quite the pop. And Joey almost cried when they kept chanting his name, and he kept up with, "Oh my God!" Oh my God!
Classic Joey, man. Classic Joey. Gotta love it.
And he welcomed the fans to ECW One Night Stand before introducing his broadcast partner, ECW legend Mick Foley. Joey, this was a little side note for those who pretty much didn't know, like any new fans around the wrestling business. Joey initially wanted to go solo, but WWE made the call to have a duo team. So even though their names weren't on the broadcast, they still had some type of major influence on it. So, because I know some people who watched the old ECW hardcore TV stuff wondered why it was two here, but one there, is because WWE was like, yeah, we want an ECW reunion show, but we want to balance it out. And when you kind of think about it, Mick didn't really bring much to the announce team, if you think about it. Yeah, he didn't really bring much to the announce team. So it's like, interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was, what can you expect? I mean, at least you got classic Joey, being Joey per usual. To really just give that retro effect. So I guess that's what you could ask for more than anything. We'll just tune out the guys that didn't really contribute much personality. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah.
They then went to the cold open, which showed how crazy ECW was back in the day. I'm like, damn, this was legit. Every time.
Throwback for real. It really you felt the authenticness of that. You know what I mean? Like you knew, oh, we in ECW for real, for real. This ain't no WWE crowd. This is straight ECW, baby. Wow.
ECW. We got the opening bout, Lance Storm with Dawn Marie versus Chris Jericho. Lionheart, Chris Jericho. A side note for those who don't know, Dawn was more because they were. If you followed Dawn in the original ECW, she pretty much wore nothing. Literally. But Dawn was more covered up than usual here because I believe she was pregnant at this point. So she didn't want to show off her belly bump. They noted that this was Lance Storm's final match, and I was like, you sure about that? Because I believe he had a match with Bryan Danielson a few weeks or months later in Ring of Honor. So it was kind of like, yes and no. And I found it funny how this pay-per-view happened while majority of the people they had on this show were either fired by WWE at this point or just now working with TNA.
Big facts.
That's why I found it funny. So they pulled it off this time, but they didn't pull it off the next time. Jericho came out in his Lionheart gear as a throwback to his time in ECW. It was hearing Break the Walls Down is always a throwback since we pretty much hear Judas a lot if you watch AEW. Yes. This was pretty much a technical showcase and the crowd was heavily into it. I'm like, dang, made me miss this type of crowd. Like it makes me miss crowds a lot more.
Doesn't it?
Even though we saw it at Double or Nothing and we saw. And I think we're going to see it at Slammiversary. It makes me miss crowds a lot more than I probably should. But at the same time, I kind of don't want to see the ECW, I mean the WWE crowds, because I already know they're gonna be chanting what, and this is awesome to pretty much everything.
Literally.
When Jericho hit a baseball slide on Lance Storm to the outside, Joey said about the ringside mats, if we were in another city, we would not use mats. They made us a bunch of sissies. I was like, what? What?
Oh my goodness.
What,
Wow.
Joey?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I feel like he was just shooting from the hip most of the time at this one.
You could tell he really didn't care because didn't he like quit in a like shoot form before this, and then basically you knew, like, I believe he was technically fired or something like that even after that. Right. And like they brought him back, and then that's kind of so you could tell he was shooting from the hip. It was very obvious. It was like, I don't work here anymore, so I'm finna be no filter. Like, it's ECW, dadgummit. Like, come on. No WWE machine behind this voice. Get out of here.
We I know, because when we got to that Mike Awesome match, he was
come on. Come on now.
I was like, ooh, that didn't age well.
Oh boy.
We got a few Chris Candido chants, rest in peace. I believe he died a few months prior to this show. I believe it was like he died in May-ish, so it was fresh still.
Yeah.
Lance Storm went for a Gotch style pile driver. I just miss seeing pile drivers in wrestling, and actually being sold or treated like a big deal. Jericho reversed the Gotch pile driver, but was caught with a super kick. Before it was a transition move.
Of course.
I love the way Lance did it for some reason, because he used his left leg, which instead of the usual right leg like everybody uses, is like his execution and positioning was a little different.
I agree. I did always like his super kicks. It seemed different because he always did like a lean, almost like he tripped.
Yeah, it made it, and I think he made it feel like it was out of nowhere, even though it wasn't.
Yeah. Like you could see it coming, you could see where it was positioned, but it's just, again, he just literally did it in a way where it was like smooth and finesse. You know what I mean? Like real cool. Yeah.
Like I didn't mean to hit you, or I didn't mean to knock your teeth out, but here you go. Click.
Oh man, gotta love it.
Then we got a fuck John Cena chant, a prelude to 2006. So it was like they were just chanting everything. And when you watch when I was watching this pay-per-view, it kind of like, sometimes the crowd made me like, I missed the crowd, and sometimes I was like, go away. It was a few point matches that I was like, please go away. Just shut up.
True. I gotta agree with that. Like you know, trolls, man. ECW fans are probably the biggest trolls of them all. I mean, they're the godfather of trolls.
They created the troll that we see today.
Exactly. Pretty much. Yes. So thank you, ECW fans. It's because of you that we have the chance that we have today that are pretty much overused. Yeah. So thank you, ECW.
They are the drizzling shits. Jericho went for the walls of Jericho, but Dawn distracted the ref and allowed Jason Knight and Just Incredible to attempt interference, and Chris fought them off until he was caught with a kendo stick to the skull, and I was like, yes, headshot. I don't know. I'm a mark for headshots. I don't know why. Even though I know about CTE and all that stuff, but you can't help but still be marking out a little bit about these headshots.
I agree with you, man. I do. The inner hardcore lover fan of me does miss those headshots, but again, I get it. CTE is a big
as long as
thing.
It's protected, because I know when they did the AEW Blood and Guts, they did a lot of headshots, and I'm pretty sure when I looked at it, all those chairs were gimmicked. So it was a good thing that we saw. It was a good thing for in the moment, but then when you look back, it's like, okay, I at least it was gimmicked, and they knew how to take it. Unlike Cody, who took the brunt of it and still got busted open with it.
Oh boy, Cody.
Lance Storm pinned Chris Jericho off of that kendo stick shot, and Lance Storm picked up the win. The Impact players with the poles to close out this segment, and the crowd gave Jericho his props after the match. It was a solid opening to the match. The crowd was hot into it. I enjoyed it, and I don't mind seeing a Chris Jericho versus Lance Storm match, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, classic. I mean, that was probably I know we talked about this on an older episode back when we celebrated Jericho, but that was one of my favorite Jerichos, man.
Lionheart.
Yeah, yeah, and it was cool to just see that throwback version, you know, short hair Jericho when he had the short haircut, you know, and it just kind of coming out there like it was just dope seeing, and I always liked those tights that he had, so I was like, man, that's my favorite Jericho, and it was great to see that. So, and Lance Storm again, so underrated in terms of the type of performer that he was, and so it's just like
I blame WWE for that because they always they straddle him with the boring gimmick. They were like, "Oh, boring." They had Stone Cold out on stage talking about he was boring. I'm like, bro, if y'all actually give this man time and give him material to work with, he's good. Because I know people like to shit on WCW 2000, but if you look back at his time in WCW when he was the anti-America pro Canada gimmick, which is basically like a Bret Hart from the Hart Foundation in '97 on steroids. It was actually enjoyable to watch because he had all those titles. He was draped in gold. He had the women. He had the faction behind him. He had that match. If you ever heard of anybody, I'm pretty sure most of my listeners have. If you ever heard of Deadlock, the podcast, they actually talk about it on one of their retro reviews, and that's one of my favorite reviews where they talk about Lance Storm, because Lance Storm is actually his WCW run is way better than his WWE run, hands down. So it's like if you ever look back at WCW 2000, check out Lance Storm on that because he was doing some good stuff. I'm not finna say it was great, but it was good stuff to where for the time that it was, because WCW 2000 was dreadful to sit through, but Monday Night Raw 2021 has taken that gate.
Yeah, big time, baby, big time.
We talked about it on the last retro show, but the focal point of the night was basically the anti-ECW Crusaders from Raw and SmackDown. They then aired a tribute package. ECW remembers basically of guys who didn't get typical tributes from the WWE. I'm like, damn, that's a lot of people. They had Crash. I said Spike. Crash Holly on there. I think his name was Mikey something. That was a solid thing that he did. Then we switched to a three-way dance, which was basically ECW's twist on WWE's triple threat match. It was basically an elimination match. It was Yasuhiro Tajiri with Sinister Minister, aka Father James Mitchell from TNA, and Mikey Whipwreck versus Lil Guido, aka Nunzio with the FBI, the full-blooded Italians, versus Super Crazy and a high. I didn't really take too many notes on this because it was so all over the place.
Oh yeah, high flying to a.
But I loved it. I don't know why.
You know, this is the type of match Broken Matt Hardy, original Broken Matt Hardy would call Spot Monkeys Fest. Oh, you spot monkeys. You spot monkeys doing what you do. You know, like this is where he would have a field day in a match like this, because it was truly spot monkeys-esque. But it was so great because
it was I think the reason why it was so great because around this time it was more subtle. Like they didn't you really couldn't tell. Yeah, this is before everybody became spot monkeys.
Yeah, no, true, because this was, to me, this is if we had to talk about eras, like this is 2005 was where it was my favorite era, one of my favorite eras outside of Attitude Era, because it was like you got that nice balance. You know, you had your big, you know, muscle bound, strong guys who did, you know, could move for most part, you know, or just played stiff. You had your technical guys, you had your high flyers, you know what I mean, that did stuff like this, but you didn't see that in every match. You saw, and then you had your hardcore guys too. I forgot about that. You had hardcore guys, so you saw a little bit of everything. And I think that's what's mostly missed about wrestling to this day, like in modern day, right?
It's like every match has a tope spot. Every match has a super kick spot. It's like every match is the same, and that's a whole nother conversation on why a lot of people, that debate is happening with like Roman Reigns and all this stuff with Kenny Omega, is because you can say Roman Reigns is the best storyteller today because he doesn't do all these topes and dives. He's telling a story. Whereas if you try to say, oh, Kenny Omega is the best, it's like Kenny doesn't really know how to tell a story. If you have to ask me, because none of his matches recently draws my attention, and it has nothing to do with Kenny himself. It has anything to do with what he follows or what his match follows. Every match has some of his spots in it. every match somebody does something that it's not a variety of everything. That same thing goes with WWE. Same thing goes with Impact. Everybody does the same thing to the point where it's like I don't want to watch anything modern, and hopefully it changes. If it doesn't, I'll stick with my retro reviews, because it's like nothing modern catches my attention to where I want to sit through an entire show and see the same match over and over again.
I can agree with that. I can
and
totally
this match
agree.
actually was a balance of everything. You had your heart, like you said, you had your hardcore, you had your spot monkeys, you had your technical matches, you had your heavy hitters, and then you had your I guess you could say comedy gimmicks with the invaders or the crusaders. So it was a perfect balance with this match, with this entire pay-per-view. As we got to the point, Super Crazy lost his mind further by doing his moonsault from the balcony, which was pretty much replayed on everything ECW and WWE. Oh, Dios míos!
I was like, oh man, gotta love it, dude. I miss Super Crazy.
Yeah. Is he retired now?
I think he still wrestles on the indies a little bit, but for the most part, he's kind of like just that vet guy you see.
Every blue moon.
Yeah, every blue moon. That kind
of thing. I'm about to say, is it? Because I've never, everybody making a big deal about retirement nowadays. It's like you see a lot of guys who don't really, they just either semi-retired or they just fall into the. I'm more of a guy. If I ever get into wrestling, I'm at the age now where I can, because I'm 26. So it's like, if I ever get into wrestling, I would. If I had to retire, you probably wouldn't know. Because I'm not, I'm more of a subtle guy. I'm like, if I have to retire, I'm like, okay, time for me to go. I'm not going to make a big deal. If you ask where I am, and then I'll probably make a subtle reference, I'm retired. And then I'll just move on. Like, I'm not the guy who will make a long paragraph. If that's you, that's you. I'm not a guy who make a long paragraph of saying, oh, I'm retired. I'm going to retire because of this, that, and third. And then I come out of retirement a few years later. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, instead of making a big deal, just subtly retire. And if you feel like coming out of retirement, or if you can, just come out of retirement.
Agreed. I totally agree with that.
Big Guido tried to interfere, but Lil Guido was hit with the green mist, and Sinister Minister hit Big Guido in the dick before Mikey attacked Guido, and Tajiri pinned him to eliminate Lil Guido. And now it's 1-on-1. Super Crazy picked up the win by connecting with his final moonsault. So they was making it a big deal about the moonsault. He hit one, then he hit a two, and he was gonna go to the top, but he finally hit it. Like I said, I couldn't take heavy notes because I was dealing with, but I couldn't heavy notes because it was all over the place, and I was dealing with gnats in my room because it's that time. It's that time of the summer where gnats just pop up out of nowhere. I'm like, where the hell do y'all come from?
Exactly.
But like I said, I actually enjoyed this match. I mean, this was a fun little match, and then we got the ECW throwback, like highlights. The beginning stages. We had highlights on the Sandman, Public Enemy, Terry Funk, Shane Douglas, the franchise.
Another guy I miss.
Did he retire too?
Yeah, he's more of like on a trainer's role a lot of times. He's kind of a guy that, to my understanding, he's kind of a guy you don't really see him in ring. He's just like either backstage presence, helping young talent, or kind of training young talent. But yeah,
makes sense. Tommy Dreamer, they showed a extensive clip of Tommy Dreamer with the kendo stick caning, where he was like, "Thank you, sir. Can I have another?" and it's funny how I think they had woman in there too.
Yes,
the late Nancy Benoit, when was she with Sandman at that time? Because I don't really remember.
I do believe so. Like, I do remember her being some part of that, but it was cool to see that.
It's kind of terrible that they don't really acknowledge Nancy because of the whole situation with Benoit, with Chris.
Yeah,
because it's like every time you try to acknowledge her, you kind of automatically tie her with
that, and it's weird because it wasn't even her fault, And
so it's like she's a persona non grata by default because of the whole situation. And I say that all the time. I'm like, it sucks. Because when I look back at some of her stuff, it's like she was into her character. So it was kind of nice seeing her in this situation because she's good at playing. She was good playing the heel.
Agreed. And of course, you got your infamous. Well, you're probably going to get to that.
What's that? Oh yeah.
Your infamous Joey catchphrase.
Oh yeah. They showed clips of the ring being flooded with chairs by the fans. Man, fans were crazy back then.
Yeah.
Funk with a flaming branding iron on Mick Foley or Cactus Jack. I was like, This motherfucker's
Hard
crazy.
to believe death matches, right?
Death matches with actual executing endings, not a botched ending.
Exactly. Death matches that you felt. You're like, oh my god, did I just see that? It's funny. You see death matches, and the first thing that guy or that girl that's wrestling's fake. Oh, you think?
You think?
Have you seen a death match? Allow me to show you. Do you think you can fake this? Oh, allow me to get somebody who's a death match specialist to show you. Then you tell me.
That remind me of that death match. I watched on one of my Twitch streams. We actually reviewed it on this podcast like 2-3 episodes ago, and this dude powerbomb one dude through glass through the opening of the stage and of the ring, and I'm like, what in the fuck? So yeah.
You wonder why the careers of most people with death matches don't last too long, and if they do, they're gonna regret that 10, 15, 20 years later. But
they're gonna be wheelchair bound or something. So that's why I'm never getting into death match. I'm like, y'all can't. No.
You can have that one. Bumps are enough.
Yeah,
that type of bump. Oh no. I want to live to see my family, sir.
Like, no. Because one little mistake, you done. Because didn't Nick Gage almost bleed to death, or he did die like twice in the helicopter?
Darn near.
So no, I'm good.
No, not at all.
They showed more highlights of Shane Douglas tossing the NWA title down and proclaiming himself the ECW World Champion, and then they capped it off with Public Enemy fans breaking the ring, which was another sight to see. And then we switch it up to the next match, which is Psychosis versus Rey Mysterio Jr. I love this Rey Mysterio theme song. Who's that jumping out the sky?
R-E-Y. Dang. Thank you for reminding me of another one. God.
Yeah. I don't know why they should have gave that one to Dominic.
This is why top 10 themes is always going to be so hard, but we'll get to that later. But nonetheless, yeah, you're right. You would think maybe they would give him well.
But they gave him that 619. I'm like, whatever they were saying. It was an awesome luchador matchup for what it was. Like, it was another spot fest. This style was not as heavy as it is nowadays. Like, you can tell it was a little choreographed. They got some put your mask on chants at Psychosis, either because he was in a luchador fight or because they think he was ugly. Then at some point the crowd started chanting boring. It was something. This match was, I kind of tuned out a little bit with this match. I don't know what it was. I was just like, it was fun. It was cool, but it was just like they hit a psycho guillotine, and then Mick Foley called a guillotine. I'm like, bro,
you know what? I can say that I think I know what it was, is because these two specifically shine better in the WCW fan side of things. If you did a WCW one night stand and you had this match, that would have been more receptive because WCW was more wrestling based versus ECW, which was extreme based.
And I don't even think they did as many like weapon spots. Like, that's the thing. I think that's the thing with these matches. You need some type of weapon spot.
Right. See, this was the type of match that was true cruiserweight-esque, right? But not an extreme cruiserweight-esque. This was legit just cruiserweight-esque. So this was the type of match a WCW one night stand, if they did one of those back then, this is one of those that a WCW fan would have appreciated the most, right? But the ECW crowd, again, this is what made this so authentic and so memorable, because those were true ECW fans. And as we know, based off what we mentioned with chairs being tossed in the ring, ECW fans are kind of a little bit on the two lights short of a light bulb.
Yeah, it was 100% trolls.
Yeah. That just no.
But then I get it, because people try to understand like what makes a wrestling match perfect. The match style, the match pace, and the crowd. If the crowd isn't into it, you kind of check out. You kind of don't care, which is a prime example for a lot of AEW matches with crowds. Like, if the crowd isn't into it, I don't care. And that's just me being brutally honest.
You can argue and say the same thing for NXT as well.
Oh yeah,
the crowd isn't into
that's
it.
another prime example. NXT Takeover in your house this past weekend. I hated. I pretty much hated the entire show because everything was so. It's like the crowd didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically a glorified TV show. I mean, like a weekly TV episode.
Yeah, agreed, man. So
and to the point where WWE had to pipe in, "This is awesome" chance where the crowd is just looking like this.
Yeah, and it's sad when it has to result to that because again, this type of crowd, which just signifies so much about the era, that era, is that there was no piping that, buddy. That was very genuine and authentic.
They was like boring, and then they was chanting everything else. It was like the ending basically to this match was a seated senton into the crowd, and the crowd was a little popped. They popped a little bit for it. They had to rush it, hit the 619 into the West Coast pop to pick up the win. The way Psychosis spiked his head on that West Coast pop, which I wish Ray would bring it back at least one time. Just do the West Coast pop at least once, because he doesn't do the West Coast pop anymore. He does the splash. I get why he does it now, because he's well aged at this point, and his body can't do a lot of the flips that he used to do. But it's like just bring it back one at least once.
Just once. But you got to do it for the right match. You know what I mean? Do it for the right match with the right person that you gel the best with. Like back when him and Andrade used to wrestle,
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting it to at least happen. I'm like, I mean, that's when he brought back the Canadian Destroyer to WWE, because before that they didn't do it.
Yeah. Agreed.
So and now but ever since then we've gotten a Bunny Destroyer. And and then AEW kicks out of it like it's a suplex. So to the point where Petey Williams has to do an Avalanche Canadian Destroyer, and it still doesn't have as much impact because, like I said, it's been turned into a suplex.
Great.
But like I said, this match wasn't really that good for me for obvious reasons, because the crowd wasn't into it, and it was like, oh, okay. It fizzled out like 5 minutes into it for me. And I was just on my phone at that point. Then the anti-ECW SmackDown Crusaders arrived to the arena. Then we start remembering why the crowd is as trollish as they are. You sucked it. You sucked it. You sucked it. I was like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Carlito showing up with his tits out because he was the only one with his shirt open. I'm like, bro, you got your nipples out. Just let the nipples loose, I guess. Like,
let them breathe. Yeah. Carlito, Caribbean.
Let the nipples bleed.
Yeah, let the nipples bleed. Eat spit. That's not cool. And there you go. You have a problem with guys and showing the nipples? That's not cool.
This man just made the whole effect.
Hey, I'm here all night, people. You already know where to find me. Let's go. I got wrestling impressions for days, baby. I'll give them to you how you want them. I love it. See, it was only these type of years that could bring this type of excitement out. I can't get this out of modern day wrestling, people. I can't give you this type of charisma out of the product today. So I got to use retro to give you what I miss. Do you see the difference when you had characters that you actually cared about? Oh my God. Let's go to the next part. God, dog. See? Sheesh.
We got the fuck you SmackDown chance, and Rey Mysterio was still in the ring for some reason. JBL just taking liberties. I got a ticket, you little Mexican. What? What,
excuse
John? Then we got another ECW throwback highlights. That was too funny. We got another ECW throwback highlights. Paul Heyman, this is ECW, or he was like, this is EC fucking W. The Dudley Boys 3D and Beulah McGillicuddy and breaking her neck. Bill Alfonso getting chokeslammed by 911. Stone Cold, welcome to Monday Night Raw, where the big boys play with each other. I was like, bro. Steve Austin was just taking liberties at that point.
Yeah.
We got highlights of the Raven versus Tommy Dreamer feud. That was one of the top feuds of ECW, in my opinion. Jerry Lawler invading ECW, siding with RVD and Sabu. Sabu legitimately breaking his freaking neck off of a suplex by, I believe that was Chris Benoit, because that was long hair. That was long hair, Chris Benoit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We had Dreamer pile driving McGillicuddy with her panties out. McGillicuddy.
Extreme folks. Who said you couldn't pile drive a woman in her panties? Oh,
there was a lot of women getting destroyed. Bomb. Like we got women going through power bomb through tables and all that stuff.
Wasn't that such a great time where women actually weren't sensitive about that? You know, like, did I say that? I'm sorry, ladies. I love y'all. But I'm talking about, y'all know what I'm talking about, man. It's like you can't do that today, right? You can't.
Yeah. Please don't cancel. Please don't cancel.
I'm not canceled. I love you. It's love, man. I'm just saying that's being realistic, though. I'm just saying,
being realistic.
You know, like today, a woman could still kick a guy in the balls. Nobody's gonna say anything. But as soon as the guy tries to pile drive a woman or something,
oh my god, why did he do that? She's a woman.
It's abuse, and you're like, dude, it's wrestling. Like she's okay. She knows how. She's tough. She knows how to take this, right? Like.
It's cool. It's cool.
It's not to bash the ladies. I love the ladies. We all love the ladies. Okay?
We love the ladies.
We're emphasizing that we do not abuse here. Okay,
we do not.
Thank you.
We do not condone abuse.
No,
unless it's warranted. If you punch me in the face like a man, you're gonna get hit in the face like a man.
I'm not gonna say that part.
I said that part.
I'm grabbing my sister or anyone I know that is going to defend that. Okay, that's it.
It depends on the situation. Depends on the situation.
Fight the battles. Let the ladies fight.
If you punch me in the face. If you punch me in the face without way or cause and expect to not get a reflex, then I don't know what to tell you.
Oh no,
I was raised that way by a woman. My mother told me that. She said oh no, oh yes, oh yes. Another highlight: McGillicuddy revealing she's pregnant with Tommy Dreamer's baby, and then Taz is challenged to Shane Douglas, who made him tap out in 5 minutes or less to win the ECW title. I believe he was on his way out at that point, so because Taz was just bored with ECW. Then we get the next anti-ECW segment: the quintessential stud muffin Joel, who I was like. He actually said that with a straight face. Was looking to interview SmackDown to Kurt Angle snatched the microphone and JBL shoved. JBL was taking liberties throughout this entire show. I feel like he was taking liberties with
Michael. This is a stream. Listen, difference, Michael. Listen.
And we got more "you suck dick" chants at Kurt Angle, and then "your mother taught me how." Pause. What, Kurt? I'm gonna let you try that one more time. I'm gonna give you a redo.
You didn't know?
I'm gonna give you a redo, my friend. Your mother taught you what? Okay.
Ooh, okay.
All right. Perk Angle was hitting different at that point. Kurt talked about his initial stint in ECW, which was never talked about, or he would sue them because he felt uncomfortable with Sandman being crucified like Jesus by Raven, which I kind of understand, but yeah. JBL then was legitimately shooting on the fans, ECW fans. He might as well have been talking about Barter fans with them bitching about stuff in between visiting their porn sites on the internet about stuff that they have no control over. Because imagine spending your time on Twitter bitching about somebody who is richer than you. I can't relate. Because I will say this until I'm blue in the face. I am not arguing with anybody back and forth over somebody on Twitter who is richer than me. That's not how this works.
This is true.
That's not how we do. That's not how we're doing it here.
Not at all. Oh no.
Kurt Angle was looking for a reason to strip because he took off his shirt. And I'm like, bro, you just looking for a reason to strip at this point. JBL was cutting one hell of a promo here. Like he was starting to see red. Like he was spitting and everything. And then RVD came out, who's still injured at this point. I think he had a knee injury. Hey, jackass. Don't you ever interrupt me again. Before they cut off his mic. I was like, hey, jackass. Don't you ever interrupt me again.
Oh, man. Come on.
RVD was cutting a different style of promo than his usual whatever and cool gimmick thrown on him by WWE up at this point. Alfonso For some reason, he was on one because this man could not stay still to save his life. He was just jumping all over the place.
He part of that was super excitement of just being able to come back and do this again with his boy RVD. But then, yes, he had to be on something.
I'm like, bro, you geek. Either you probably on a laced blunt. His blunt was laced at that point. I'm like,
well, look who is around now. I mean,
RVD 420 says I just smoked your ass.
Oh, got him.
It was a solid promo by RVD. It was straight to the point. He was just shooting from the heart. I'm like, he mentioned everything. He was like, I miss Booker T's wedding. I miss WrestleMania. I missed the overseas tour. And then I'm like, and then Rhino came out and just said, man, fuck your feelings. And go the hell out of RVD. He said, man, fuck your feelings, man.
Such a savage you are, Rhino. No wonder they call you Rhino, son.
With the gore.
My goodness, my guy.
He targeted the injured knee of RVD. Then the lights went out and came back on. It was the homicide, the genocide, suicide, death-defying Sabu. Then we got that. That led to an impromptu match of Sabu versus Rhino. Then this is, like I said at the top, like a lot of people got fired at this point. They like, you got fired because I believe Rhino was legitimately released from WWE like a few weeks before this happened. And they were like, you got fired. You got fired. I was like, damn.
That's cold, isn't it? You know, it's like, geez, Philly.
They didn't care.
That's how you feel?
They didn't care.
Like,
they didn't care.
God.
And then and then we got a few unprotected headshots, and I was like, yo, this is my type of match. Let's go. Rhino went for the gore on Sabu, but he connected with he connected with Pee Wee instead, the referee. Pee Wee is down. No, Pee Wee is dead. RVD hit Rhino in the skull with the chair, and RVD barely hit the dropkick in the corner because he was legitimately still working with the knee. I'm like, bro, you sure you want to do this? I guess he didn't care. Sabu hit the chair, assisted leg drop on Rhino through the table to pick up the win. This was a fun little match. It wasn't no rest holds. It was literally just like, hey, we can beat the shit out of each other to kill time.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly everything you would have wanted in an ECW like fashion. You got headshots, blood, you got gore, you got not give a effery from fans, and apparently promos as well. So, hey, what do you expect?
Have fun.
Nothing.
And then
less.
we got next to, what does everybody want? Hey,
my boy.
Hey.
My guy.
He was talking to himself and the mannequin, talking about everything. I was like, bro, this dude literally just cut a promo with a mannequin. Al Snow is one of the most underrated promos ever.
Look, man, talk about you've heard of guys who can wrestle a broomstick. You know what I'm saying? Why not look at a guy who can cut promos with a freaking foam head? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, do you see that?
Now, speaking of head, for the next ECW throwback, the crowd was drowning the ring with head. Like, they was tossing. Everybody had mannequin heads and just started tossing it into the ring. I'm like, damn, this dude was over. This dude was legit over. And it's like with WWE, I think WWE's problem at that time is like, if you just do what they make them over and just take it on here, you really don't have to tweak anything.
You don't. No,
Same with NXT. If it's over here, you don't have to tweak anything. Just right around it. That's all you gotta do. You ain't gotta tweak every little thing.
Come on now.
We got BWO. We're taking over. Bam Bam Bigelow going through the ring with Taz on his back. I'm like, well, damn. Power bombing women through tables, as I mentioned. They didn't give no F's at that point. Taz and Bam Bam going through the stage is like, fuck the ring. Let's go through the stage. I'm like,
pretty much. Yeah.
See, AEW, that's how you go through a stage. Well, and by AEW, I mean their production company. Like, if you see somebody going through something, don't give us a shot of the back of the. You know what? I'm over it.
We all are. It's okay. I get it. We all are. Hey.
Taz no selling a choke slam.
Because it's Taz.
It was
My
just Taz
boy.
at that point.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
He dropped this man on the back of his neck. I'm like, well, all right.
Come on, F the world, bro. Like, come on. It's Taz.
Then we got the Sabu and Taz rivalry, and the crowd will go ape shit. Like, they didn't even touch, and they just went crazy. And then we got the next anti-ECW segment. The Raw Crusaders arrived at this point, and someone splashed Eric Bischoff with their drink. And Eric almost took liberties at this point. He was like, what the fuck?
Hey man, hey, listen, did that just happen? Yes, it did, Eric.
They like just casually like, meow.
Just go with the flow. Go with the flow.
Just go.
It's ECW, man.
It's ECW at this point. And then this is the part of the show where I was just like over it with the crowd, because the next match we got was Chris Benoit versus Eddie Guerrero. I felt like they should have used the Gangsta Lean song for Eddie. It's about time to step up with the Gangsta Lean. Boy,
yeah, that would have been nice. That would have been nice to use that one.
Dun, 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 dun. Man, the music back then was just...
It hit different, bro. It just hit different. Let's just call it like it is. It hit different.
It hit different. Like the keys, the different sounds, everything did not sound the same. Everything didn't sound like a loop. Yeah. Everything didn't sound like a generic YouTube library music.
Everything fit the character of the individual.
Keyword, character. Everything fit for a character. And CFO, they was touching a little bit on what Jim Johnson was doing, but then now they just like everybody has a guitar riff and something. I'm like, every match doesn't, and I think that's why I grown to like Roman's theme a little bit more, because he doesn't have guitar riff in it. He has keys and organs, whereas everybody has a. I'm like, can y'all just hurry up and go buy CFO out their contract and just bring them back, please? So you can start back using their music again. Please.
Seriously. All that money you should be able to, but hey.
I digress. Budget cuts. Budget cuts. That's why I ain't buying those $700 cameo. Budget cuts.
Facts.
I believe Eddie was fresh off of his heel turn on Ray. So he wasn't going to break that character for nothing, even though they was chanting for him. Mm-hmm. And then this is where I was over the crowd, because they were trolling the ECW Crusaders. And this match kind of just fell a little bit. It was good if you tune out the crowd. But if you're listening for the combined balance of the crowd and the match, you can even tell that Eddie and Chris was getting frustrated. Because they kept stalling, because they was like, this shit.
yeah. It was a lot to say about that. You know, again, yet another
leaders got herpes. I was like, what?
This was another one of those things where you look at that match, and again, this would have been more fitting for like a WCW type of match. Like, I get why they did these type of matches, because of the fact that, again, you know, all of these guys had ECW roots.
Yeah,
fitting. But also remember, these guys didn't last that long in ECW, because
they were there for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, WCW then turned into WCW, the mega company that was rivaling WWE, or F, if you want to say F, WWF. And so, you know, by that time, they were snatching up talent left and right. You know what I mean? So it was like, you can't really, to me, I like you said, if you tune out the crowd, maybe if you mute it and you just watch it as is. Yeah. You know, that match and the Mysterio and Psychosis match, you can appreciate more as a WCW fan, and just picture that being a moment of, if you just blank out the ECW logo and say, let's make this WCW for a second. Then you can say, okay, all right, I appreciate this a little bit better.
Yeah, it's a technical showcase they had one chair shot and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
And that barely got a reaction. Like, the entire time, this crowd barely gave a reaction. And it was like, if you're that type of fan that likes it based off of crowd, you would think this match sucks, because the crowd wasn't really, they was too busy chanting Edge and JBL, you sucked it. So you sucked it. All that stuff.
But you know, crazy thought about this match is the fact that this is the year where it was basically Eddie's final year.
Yeah.
And had that crowd probably known that,
they probably would have reacted a whole lot different.
A whole different way. Like if we just
That's
had the
another
ability to
escape.
know that.
That's another. It's like the thing with Eddie is a situation of you. If you could go back, you would appreciate it more.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I don't really remember 2005 or pretty much Eddie's rise. I mean, run at the top. I remember his rise because I was a kid. I was a kid in '99 to 2002, and then I semi checked out, and then I came back around 2004, 2005, around the time he died. So it was like you didn't. And when you look back, you like, and still to this day, 2004 when Eddie won the WWE title is my favorite, one of my top favorites.
Oh yeah,
because of the story behind it. So it's like you can tell probably this crowd was like, damn, I wish I would appreciate this match.
Yeah,
a lot more than I did, and I gave it credit for.
Yeah, it's just one of those moments where you know how you say, "Oh, that didn't age well." Yeah, you can look at those fans and how they were acting during this match, especially because even a year later we didn't see Benoit anymore either. So the fact that both
2
of
years,
gentlemen,
2007. So it's like
so 2 years. Well, yeah, so they had a little time to enjoy Benoit still. Okay, but still, I guess if you look at the span of where we are now. You go back to that crowd and you look at that match then. That was the final time, I believe, that we got to see those two face each other.
Yeah, literally. So I don't think,
So
because I believe at that time Eddie was the heel, and I think either this month or a month after Chris was on a sabbatical. So he had left He had left the WWE, took a break,
right?
And then Eddie died, and then I think he came back that next year.
Right. And that's why I was like, these two with the real life friendship that they have and had, it's like it just didn't age well. When you look at those fans, like it didn't age well that y'all were trying to, troll over this match that ended up being the last time we ever got to see these two. So
and it was a good match. So
it was.
Like I said, once you mute the crowd, is like, okay. Chris Benoit won with the cripple cross face, and that was pretty much this match. Like they just quickly switched to the because they even cut away to Bischoff during this match because they kept chanting fuck you Bischoff. Like they was literally just not paying attention to this match at all.
Not at all.
Joel tried to interview Eric Bischoff once again, and he was once again thrown out. And EB took liberties with ECW, calling it whatever, every name in the book that you can think of. Then we switched to one of my favorite matches, simply because they just went crazy with it. Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka, who is still wrestling to this day. Like I think they say he had a recent hard hitting match, and I'm like, bro, this dude just does not quit. Joey Styles was not quite the fan of Awesome, to keep it lightly, and they started off heavy with this match. Both men was just like, yo, let's just go crazy, because I think they had to try to get the crowd back into the show after that debacle with the Benoit and Guerrero match where they was literally not caring. Mike Awesome hit a suicide dive, and Joey Styles, I'm pretty sure he probably regrets this to this day. Suicide dive by Mike Awesome, man. It's a shame that he didn't succeed in taking his own life. I was like, ooh. Damn. And they were like, I'm surprised the cock didn't bleep this out, because he actually did a few years later, like in 2007, I believe. Or 2000. Yeah, so I feel like 2007 was quite the year for wrestling, and in a bad way.
Yeah. It was starting to take that negative light of lifestyle.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. So it was a rough year.
The crowd was more into this match than the previous one, as I mentioned, and we got my favorite part of the match: a lot of unprotected headshots. We got an awesome bomb through the table at ringside, which popped me because I love the awesome bomb. Mike Awesome was cool.
He was
WWE dropped the ball on him because they could have treated him like a big deal during that invasion, that storyline. But I feel like the invasion angle was more so of hey, WWF is more superior than the WCW, so screw them.
Exactly.
Because if it was a balanced playing field, DDP would have been the People's Champion versus the People's Champion with The Rock instead of stalking the Undertaker's wife, which I still don't get to this day because he went from Kimberly Page to Sarah.
Kind of a downgrade, if you ask me.
Woof.
You know, and I can say that because he's not even married to Sarah anymore. So it's like,
he did an upgrade from Sarah to Michelle.
Yeah, he did. He's winning. He's winning from it too. So hey, sorry.
This man Tanaka took 3 headshots and absorbed all of them. He no-sold all, and these weren't no regular headshots. These man was like, wow. I'm like, God,
yikes. Damn. You know, insert quote from Friday, but hey, you know.
Or as Ron Simmons would say, damn. Tanaka no-sold the German suplex into the steel chairs, but was folded in half by a spear, and his head snapped, and like his head whiplashed onto the chairs. I was like,
I always love when spears are done like that, done right.
Where their head whiplash.
Like, oh my God, they just died. Yeah. They're
broken. Dead.
Oh my God, he's broken in half.
It's like some people's spears I can't stand because they don't look right. I can tell you, I know people that hate them, but the 2 people's spears that I enjoy the most is Goldberg and Roman.
For sure.
Because they throw themselves into the spear, and when people sell it right,
for sure. Best in the business, no doubt.
Fat Chick Thriller and that 80s guy. That really was Mike Awesome's gimmick. They was taking Joey Styles and Mike Foley making fun of it. We got a DDT through the table, and at this point, JBL is heavily drunk and is going wild up in the balcony. They did an awesome bomb spot through the remains of the table, but if they didn't land what they did, there was like a spike sticking up through the remains of the table, and it could have possibly ended a lot worse for Tanaka. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look back at that match and you see that spot, like that table, the spike was right there. If he would have landed a little bit further, it would have impaired his stomach or his chest, and that would have been a disaster. That would have been quite
only in ECW.
You can tell this sounded so 2005. This match rules. It was a precursor to This Is Awesome. This is awesome. All right.
Oh Lord. Oh boy.
Then Mike Awesome literally embraced his WWE 2K spam with the finishers. Awesome bomb through the table, and then Mike hit a top rope dive and onto Tanaka and pinned him on the floor. And then he decided to say, "You know what? Screw you, ref. I'm Awesome bomb the referee." just for shits and giggles, and that was a celebration for Mike Awesome. This match, the crowd was more into this match. This match was awesome, pun intended, and I personally enjoyed it mainly for the headshots. I don't know why. I'm a sick freak. It happens.
Oh, it is what it is, man. It was a good one. It was a good one.
Then we got Paul Heyman's shoot promo. I say shoot with air quotes because it was a worked shoot.
It was greatest promo of all time, arguably.
And then for some reason, Joey Styles made the comment, "We sneak out the back, pass on Cat Fair, and leave a fake phone number." I was like, what does that even mean?
Only Joey Styles, ladies and gentlemen. You never know what's gonna come out.
I said, what does that even mean? What are you talking about, Joseph?
Hey, man, he don't even know. He's just saying it to be out there. No filter.
No filter, even though I make no lick of sense. Paul Heyman came out and thanked the fans to a standing ovation, and then for some reason, I still say this to this day, Paul Heyman with a ponytail just doesn't feel right anymore. I don't got used to this man with the George Jefferson haircut.
Honestly, to me, I'm kind of the other way around because I still can't even get over the fact that he doesn't even have the thing anymore. It's weird, I miss Cap Paul Heyman with the ponytail.
I don't know why. It's like, bro, someone needs to just tell Paul to just go ahead and cut it off. Like, just cut the rest. Like, it's like I feel like he's just holding on to that shred of hair.
Do you know how long it took him to finally cut the ponytail? And it was just even when that finally got cut.
It took him until 2014 to cut that ponytail.
Yeah, exactly.
It kept him. He kept on to it. I'm like, bro, how do you wake up and just like look at that little bit of ponytail, be like, let me go ahead and grease my scalp and my little ponytail, just like let me go ahead and put it in. And now he finally cut it off, and now it's like, bro, you rocking the George Jefferson, rocking that George Jefferson bowl cut, where it's like it's a baldy right here, and then you got a little fade right there,
a little something on the side over it.
Ain't nothing up there. It's just it's clean. It's nothing up there. Like, you know how some people got a 3 little strands of string right there. No, ain't nothing right there. It's literally you walk up to him and just say to the top of his
forehead. Sir Paul, hair club for men, my friend. If you really want to go back to your glory days,
just go get you a toupee, bro. Just go get you a toupee.
No, seriously, hair club for men, brother. It works. It's glorious, in the words of Bobby Roode. I mean, it's glorious. It really does work. It will grow wonders for your hair. Just ask LeBron James. He's done it plenty of times. Okay, I digress.
Go ask KD to go do it, because that dude got a little buzz right there where he's losing his hair and stuff at the top. I'm like, bro, just go ahead and get you some plugs, bro.
I know this is wrestling related. Let's not get that started, ladies and gentlemen. That's a bum. I don't know who that guy is right now. That is a bum disguised as KD. Okay.
Oh, you talking about with him trying to date what's her name, Lana Rhodes?
I get yeah.
I mean, I get it. Because it's Lana Rhodes. I mean, if you just horny on the main, just say that, bro. If you horny on the main, and then he who cash app shot Sweetie?
That was James. That was James Harden. That was just stupid.
Why everybody losing, bro? All these L's, bro.
Yeah, why you taking these L's, bro? You don't need them. Shoot.
You know who else took L's on this show? Paul Heyman with these shoot promos that he was cutting. I'm not crying. My eyes are red because I was in the back smoking a joint with Van Dam. I was like, that's true. You are in our house, bitch. I was like, I think when I hear bitch, it's not as effective because WWE overuses it so much. It's like, it doesn't even have impact anymore. You be like, ooh.
Yeah, he used to be like, oh, wait, what did he just say?
Now it's like, all right. Hide your wives is Edge. I was like, oh, okay. He's a homewrecker. Makes sense. I've got 2 words for you, Matt freaking Hardy. That was 3. That was 3.
Hey.
And then it was funny how Edge said that was 3. And he did the V1 sign.
Hey,
he's like, that was 3.
If it's open, why not? Let it open. There you go.
The only reason you were WWE champion for a year is because Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays. I was like, he really thought
it's a true statement, ladies.
It's a true statement, but at the same time, because the true statement is Vince wanted Triple H back on Raw because he felt like Raw didn't have enough star power. That's Vince, not me. That's Vince. But Triple H, let's be real. Triple H didn't want to work Tuesdays. He's like, I'm working Monday and I'm going home for the rest of the week.
Oh boy,
he didn't want to work. He's like, man, I'm good. But he really thought he was hitting with these lines. I'm like, bro, they weren't really hitting in retrospect. If you look at them now, you like, that wasn't nothing. Paul ended it with the ECFNW chant to hype the crowd up, and they was hyped for the main event, which leads us to the main event: the Dudley Boys versus Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman. Dudley Boys coming out with tie-dye shirts, hit different for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, retro Dudleys, baby.
Dudleys. And it's funny how they literally had like, how many people was in ECW? Like, it was like 5 Dudleys. Now but people only remember the 2, which is Bubba and the 3, Bubba, Devon, and Spike.
Of course, yeah. Go figure.
But people don't really remember Big Dick Dudley. Rest in peace. And all these other Dudleys that they had, because it was. I need to go follow the origin stories of the Dudleys just to relive it, because I feel like it's something that I'm missing.
Yeah, hence the whole Dudleyville.
Yeah, it was a full village. They had a village. It was a full village. I'm surprised they didn't have a female Dudley, to be honest with you.
Give it time. The Stacy counts, sort of.
She's the Duchess. Stacy.
There you go. Yeah,
Cheeky,
kind of
cheeky
counts.
Stacy's.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Puppies. The innovator of violence, the innovator of wrestling, Tommy Dreamer came out. Pre-ponytail, because this man, I don't know what he got going on now. This man got a man bun now.
Yeah, that's still weird to me. I don't get it, but hey,
He's going through an old age crisis. I mean, I get it. He just fired Dunn Callis on Impact.
There you go, Tommy. Tommy.
Sandman came out next, but his theme was dubbed because of the network. But if you heard the original version, I believe they licensed a song from, it was a Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica.
And the crowd actually was singing along to the song. So that lets you know how over Sandman was.
Of course.
From a vocal standpoint. But visual, you can tell they was literally not letting this man walk. It took him longer than usual because it was like they was just all up on this man. Hopefully he didn't have no wallet because I'm pretty sure he got pickpocketed like 2 stops ago.
Hopefully not. Yikes. If that was the case.
That man was already busted open before the match even started. I'm like, bruh.
Beer cans to the head, man. Don't try it at home, kids.
Don't try that at home, please. I tried it when I was a kid and I regret it heavily.
I thought about trying it and I tried it with a thicker Coca-Cola bottle and I was just like,
I was like, I was like,
nope, never again.
Nope. The crowd, Sandman was drinking beer from women's boobs. I was like, this was so 2005.
Hey, she wasn't complaining.
Neither one of them. I think one of them was Electra with them big tits. It was cold in there too because them nipples was perking.
Yikes!
I was like, oh. And then Tommy Dreamer, for some reason, he was like, and then I was like, what are you doing? You have a whole wife and kids at the house. What are you doing, sir? Hopefully your kids didn't watch this.
Oh boy. Pops, what was that all about?
What was you licking them melons, them grapefruits?
Don't worry about it, son.
Don't worry about it.
You'll find out when you get older.
I was taking liberties.
Oh shoot. Wow. I love it.
I was taking liberties with the melons. Forget puppies. These are rock wallets.
Woof. Woof. Oh shoot. There you go. Look.
We got a show of respect between the two teams. Then the BWO came out, and Joey Styles was laughing hysterically, like he was losing. He was taking liberties at him. He was laughing. He was just laughing. They mentioned how WCW tried to sue them for making BWO, but they couldn't get through because it was a parody and not a straight up ripoff. Mm-hmm. We're taking over. Big Stevie Cool. Before Stevie kicked to Sandman, and it was I believe it was like a 4-on-2, 5-on-2 until out come Kid Cash, Axel Rotten, and Balls Mahoney. Rest in peace. They destroyed Simon Dean with chair shots, one to the back, one to the skull. I'm
not the Simon system.
And he was just fired too. They made mention of that. They're like, oh, he was just fired too. I was like, damn, was everybody fired at this point?
Boot. Oh, don't worry, you'll be here for one night stand. Boot.
Right. I'm like,
boot. Oh, you think you're safe too? Nope. Boot.
Because I believe the Dudley Boys was fired like the next month, like in July or something. So it was like, and then they was in TNA like a few months later. So I was like, damn. And Kurt, he died. He left. I said died. He left a year. He left.
God no.
He left in 2006. So it was like a lot of these guys from 2005, 2006, 2007 is when a lot of the good guys just left or died.
Mm-hmm. And then we got the era of doom from there on.
Yeah. The Dudley Boys took out the riding and balls, and they was basically fighting outside to do the stupid gimmick where everybody's fighting outside, and then they had to look up and catch somebody because they set up for Kid Cash to do the leaping tope, and he jumped. That dude jumped far. I was like, what the hell? This dude had hops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it.
Then the match finally officially begins because we heard the bell, and they already said, screw it. Let's get this cheese grater and let's take some liberties. They were just scraping each other open. Bubba took liberties with the traffic sign. Like when I say liberties, this man was hitting. I'm like, damn.
Damn.
He's like, pow. I'm like, you would thought guns. Then Tommy, I guess he bladed. He was gushing with the cheese grater on the open wound. And this man, when I mean gushing, this man was gushing. Like, yeah. We got the airplane spin in with the ladder by Dreamer to the Dudley Boys move innovated by the retired, unretired, retired again, and unretired Terry Funk. All four men was basically taking liberties at this point with these headshots, with whatever they had. And then Joey said, "These men love each other." I was like, well, damn. If they love each other and they beating the shit out of each other like this, I don't even want to be the enemy.
You can have that love, baby. Oh no.
I'm good. The Impact players interfered when it looked like the Dudley Boys were gonna tap out to a pair of figure four leg locks. They got a tombstone pile driver on a ball of barbed wire, and I'm like, you can have that too. No, thank you.
Oh, I gotta love it.
Francine came out, the queen of ECW, the queen of Extreme, came out to give Dreamer a low blow, and then Beulah McGillicuddy came out, and we got a cat fight. Oh, like, sir, calm down. Joey's cat fight was King's puppies.
Exactly. I don't know who did it better. I don't know who did it worse. I don't know who sounded
King
more
did it worse
perverted.
because that man was taking liberties in 2003. I mean, every time he saw one, puppies, puppy power. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
Oh God, JR. Oh God. Ah! Yes.
So many curves and me with no brakes.
Ah! JR, please, JR. Oh no, I think she needs a back rub. I'll be right back, JR. I'll be right back.
Would you sit down, King? Sit down. She gives me a boner. Stacy. Woo, Stacy.
Come here, Stacy. Wait.
Yeah,
come
King
here.
did it worse. King.
Let me massage that for you.
Yeah, King did it worse. King did
it's
it
official.
worse. Official King did it worse. That man was doing too much.
It's official.
The Impact players tried to take out Beulah, but she nut checked Lance, and Dreamer got rid of him, and they hit a double DDT on the Dudleys, but I feel like Beulah just fell. and it was like Bubba just said she ain't gonna get this flat. He just literally face planted himself. Bubba just said it's flat. I was like, God, you ain't help her at all. She just saying, yeah. Dreamer and Sandman hit a version of the "What's Up," crushing Bubba Devon's balls. And Joey had to apologize for saying balls. I was like, bro, we grown. And Bubba came back with the kendo, and he took some liberties and he shouted, "Fuck this!" I was like, I don't think he's supposed to say that.
Oops.
Because the commentators didn't even expect that. They was like, we apologize. Because he wasn't supposed to say that. He just said, "Oops." Like, okay.
Well.
We got a power bomb through the table for a 2 count, and then Dreamer tried to come back, but was caught with a 3D. Spike Dudley then came out, Little Runt, if you follow him, with the lighter fluid to set the table on fire, and the crowd went crazy. And then we got the flaming spot, the fire that has been replayed a lot. The Dudley Boys powerbomb Dreamer through the flaming table to pick up the win. And this dude was just he was shaking. I'm pretty sure
burns and all.
I'm not doing. Y'all can keep that too. I'm not doing. Y'all can keep that too. I'm not. Shit. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah.
Like I said, this will always.
So you understand how
I've been burnt. My arm has been burnt. I said that's what I said. Y'all can keep the famous spot. No, y'all can keep that shit. No, we're not doing that.
Been there, done that.
Been there, done that. I have the scars to prove it. I am not. I'm good. I am so good on that. Right? Y'all can keep that spot. Y'all can keep the tombstone into the barbed wire. Y'all can keep the
backdrops and pedigrees into tacks.
Y'all can keep that. I'll give it to you if you just want to take the bump, but I'm not taking it myself. No. This will always be my favorite match of the night, no matter how many times I've seen it. Postmaster Dudley's went to attack Beulah until Sandman made a save with a kendo stick, and that led us to our final segment of the night, which was the beer bash, because Stone Cold Steve Austin thing came out and the crowd went crazy. When Sandman, he like, I need a beer. I need a beer. And then at one point, Steve, he kept asking Steve over. He said, man, here, motherfucker, get off me. Because he kept asking. He was like, man, you just, here, shut up.
Give me a beer.
And then Joey, he was just out of pocket all night. We got head tonight, and I'm married. It doesn't happen anymore. I was like, sir, you just told on your wife that she doesn't give you head anymore. I mean, I get it. They like, I got my man.
Boy,
Johnny Swinger was here. This man will never retire because he's still in Impact.
I do believe so. Yes.
This man is never going to retire. The ECW challenged the Crusaders to a fight, which they accepted. Taz, FTW, Taz, not the two Z's, but one Z, made his way out to the ring to join the fight. So he literally just said, you know what? I'm just gonna show up at the end. I don't feel like having a match. Then this is the all hell broke loose. JBL took liberties with Blue Meanie here and busting him open legitimately. That led to a lawsuit and him JBL doing the job to Blue Meanie on SmackDown at some point. Rhino Gordon angle off the ramp and hit and into the Taz mission by Taz on angle on the outside, and then ECW took full control and stood their ground against the Invaders. Stone Cold demanded Mick Foley bring Eric Bischoff to the ring to get his ass whooped. And then Dudley Boys hit a 3D on Bischoff. Benoit hit the diving headbutt on EB. And then Stone Cold said something that was also canon. Kill this son of a bitch. I was like, oh.
Kill this son of a bitch.
I was like, ooh, that didn't age well. Ray hit the 619. And then Stone Cold asked EB what he think of tonight's festivities. Fuck ECW! And then he just hit the Stone Cold Stunner, and that was quite it. They did the beer bash. Dudley Boys took out the trash, so to speak, aka Eric Bischoff, and the ECW roster celebrated to end the show. Like I said, this entire show was fun, top to bottom. It had its hiccups mainly because of the crowd. Like I said, the crowd, when they're trolls, they can add to certain spots, but when they overdo it, they take away from. So that's the pros and cons of having a crowded show. But I enjoyed this. I can watch this one a lot more than I can watch the 2006 version.
True. Although I do like both versions, it's just anything beyond 2006 was just all WWE washed.
Right.
Because even 2006 still felt authentic. It was one of those things where it was better the first time around, and it was like, oh, the second time was kind of like, oh, you're just trying to capitalize a little bit, and then you could see the WWE handprints in it at that point, just a little bit. But all in all, I do agree with you. This was the best version, and yeah, what do you expect?
That was ECW, and honestly, I can watch this over and over again. But that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our retro review of ECW One Night Stand 2005.